Hey guys, how's it going? This is the Paragunner, and welcome to my Game of the Year, Games of the Year 2014 video. If you are wondering why this isn't being uploaded at the end of 2014, and instead is being uploaded at the beginning of 2015, it is because I had issues with a hard drive, and I lost gameplay data that I was going to use in this video, and there was a bunch of shenanigans that went on with that. But now I'm making it, so sorry that it's late, but it was kind of out of my control. Okay, so I want to say that the games of the year are just my opinion in this video. This isn't some sort of popular choice of what most people choose and then I just average it out or something and say, this is what most people think are the games of the year. No, these are my games of the year. They aren't necessarily going to be ones that most people have chosen, or maybe they will. You'll just have to find out. Also, I didn't play nearly every game that came out in 2014, just to name a few right now. I didn't play Destiny, I didn't play Watch Dogs, I didn't play Far Cry 4, I didn't play Assassin's Creed, Unity, Rogue, all those, I didn't play Titanfall, there's a bunch that I didn't play. So yeah, those obviously won't be in this video. So, I am going to talk about my, top 3 games of the year, and I will count them down. The reason that there's 3 is not because I thought that 3 was a good number to choose. It is just because I thought that there were only 3 games that came out this year that I played that I think are worthy of being called a game of the year. So yeah, first I just want to start out by saying 2 honorable mentions, which are Infamous First Light and Little Big Planet 3. They were really good games this year, and some of the best games that came out this year, but they are not games that I would feel okay with saying that they are worthy of being called games of the year, because they definitely are not. In my opinion, remember that. Okay, well, now let's talk about my 3rd place game for Game of the Year. So that game is Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, and this is when everybody hates me for choosing a Call of Duty game for one of my games of the year. And yes, I just did that. That wasn't a joke. A Call of Duty game has been chosen as one of my games of the year for 2014. So anyways, let's talk about why this is a game of the year. So many people have turned their backs on the Call of Duty series in the past few years because their games are really just the same thing over and over. Also, it's pretty easy to tell that they just keep on making these games to make a bunch of money, and you can't really tell that the developers had much of any passion in making these games. But this year we got something different. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare had some awesome new movement mechanics that make the multiplayer so much more fast-paced and so much more fun because of that. Also, the weapons are very diverse, even though they're very unbalanced. That's probably one of the worst things about the multiplayer, but for me, I like it because I like using very different weapons. I even like using very bad weapons. I might be a strange Call of Duty player in that way, but I have more fun with multiplayer games that way. So yeah, Advanced Warfare, it feels really new for the Call of Duty series, while at the same time feeling really old, but old in a good way and new in a good way too. It still has the same general feel to the gameplay, but it's more fast-paced. It's awesome. Like, the custom classes are very well done. It's similar how it was done in Black Ops 2, and they've basically taken the best things from the other Call of Duty games and put them into here. And there are very few complaints that I have with the multiplayer. One more being that sometimes there is a lot of lag. I have one friend who she has played the game, and it has lagged so much for her that she just ended up deleting the game because it lagged so much that it's unplayable for her. And also, I don't think the camos for the guns were done as well in some of the past games, but that is excusable in general because this game is so much fun. Also, this would have to be the 2014 game that I have put the most time into. I have already played this game for 3 days in game, so yeah, I wouldn't say I'm addicted, I just say I'm really enjoying it, and that's why it's one of my games of the year. Alright, so it's time to talk about the 2nd place game of the year, the runner-up, which is Alright, Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor is the only game on this list that is a popular choice by other people too, and that is for good reasons that it is a popular choice. Shadow of Mordor is an awesome open world game, and it really does feel next gen with the Nemesis system and all of the awesome combat and orc killing and all that stuff. Honestly, the story is interesting because I'm a fan of the Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, but other than that, it's kind of just a really basic story. It's not really what got me into this game, but what got me into this game is not the story that the game tells through the main campaign missions, but the stories that you naturally develop just by fighting the orcs. Technically, Pyro, they're called Uruks. Well, guess what? Uruks are like a kind of orc, okay? So shut up. So if you don't know what the Nemesis system is, it's where there is this like roster basically of the orc army, and there's different ranks and stuff, and these orcs like fight amongst each other and do different things, like they hunt things and that sort of stuff, and they become stronger enemies because of that. And also, when they kill you, they become stronger, and you can fight them and lose or run away, or they run away, or crazy stuff happens that sort of forms these characters in their own way. It's not super complex with the character development of them, it's just like a few short lines like, "Hey man swine, I killed you last time," or something like that, but it's just so cool and it's awesome. And also the gameplay and the controls, like other than the Nemesis system and the new things, is extremely similar to the Batman Arkham games, and I gotta be honest, that worried me at first, but it just feels so good, and it takes something from another game, which people have also said is very similar to Assassin's Creed. I've never played the Assassin's Creed games, but it is almost identical with the controls to Batman Arkham Asylum in those games. But it's like, it doesn't even matter that they kind of copied it, because it just feels so good and it works perfectly in this game. So yeah, that's why Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor is one of my games of the year. Alright, now it's time to talk about my game of the year, the #1 pick. And I don't believe I've really spoiled this at all on my channel or hinted at it that much at all. Probably not at all. So hopefully you guys are somewhat surprised by this. And yeah, this game is not a popular pick amongst most critic websites and all that stuff, but it is a game that I played at one point in the year, and ever since then, with every other game I've played, they came nowhere close to being as good as this game. And that game is
this time, I thought you were dead. You're a firefly. Ellie crosses the finish line!
That's right, it's not even a full game, it's a DLC, The Last of Us Left Behind. And, sorry for the pun, but let's just say that this game has been left behind by many critics making their Game of the Year list, because this game is DLC, whatever, it's amazing! There are so many good things about The Last of Us Left Behind, and I will just start with the most main thing, I guess. This is a DLC that further explores one of the characters in The Last of Us, Ellie, but it takes place before The Last of Us, and it shows some of her character development before that, back when she was much more innocent and more carefree, and just having fun exploring the mall with her best friend. And the things that happen in Left Behind make Ellie's character so much stronger in The Last of Us, even though her character was already a very strong character. And I have to say, Ellie is the best character in gaming. And yeah, this just further developed Ellie, and her best friend Riley is a great new character. And there's also another big part of this DLC that I would want to talk about it, but I will talk about that in my review of Left Behind whenever I end up making it, because it's something that would spoil the main game of The Last of Us for those of you who haven't not played that game, which you totally should. And Left Behind gets the character interaction done so well, with you playing as Ellie and interacting with Riley, and it is so much fun just exploring this mall and doing all the fun things there, and also so emotionally effective as you see these two characters' relationship evolve in such a natural seeming way that these characters just feel like real human people, and it just immerses you into this world. And I know that immersion is a big word always used, like, oh wow, this game is immersive and stuff, but I really mean that. It is just done so well. I'm probably just gonna go on talking about this forever, so I will end it at some point. But overall, the best thing that The Last of Us Left Behind does is it makes The Last of Us a better game. Which isn't that what DLC should do? It's like the perfect use of a DLC just to strengthen characters in the main game. Well, one character really, but just make The Last of Us an even better game. And most DLCs out there don't do that. It's like, oh well, here's some more extra content just so that you don't get bored and so that we can make some more money off of this game. No, this was so perfectly done, and no game is perfect. That's not what I really mean, but this was really, really close. So yeah, The Last of Us Left Behind is my game of the year for sure. I don't know what is in other people's minds to where they don't think this is the game of the year, but that's fine. That's their opinion. I was just blown away by how awesome this was. So definitely play it, but you have to play it after you play The Last of Us, for sure, because there are some spoiler things for the main game of The Last of Us. Also, this DLC came out twice this year, because it came out in February on the PS3, and then it came out in July as part of The Last of Us Remastered, which the gameplay you are seeing here is from Remastered, but in YouTube videos the quality of it looks very similar to the PS3 version. So either way, either console that this is on, awesome game. I've said that 10 million times now, go play it already. Thank you for watching. Make sure to leave your games of the year for 2014 in the comments below, if it's not too late for you to think about that, because it's January of 2015 already. And thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and have a great day.